Swadee krap. More Sandbox plans being proposed as Thailand slowly opens back up. The country's Chamber of Commerce calls for an acceleration in the vaccine rollout, and the latest from the increasing violence next door in Myanmar. Also, a big hello and thank you to Cop Watch UK, one of our Thaiger legends. You can become a Thaiger cub or Thaiger legend by clicking join underneath the video window. But there's a lot more news coming up and a bit of a secret that I'm not allowed to tell you at the end of the program. Let's get started. The chairman of the Thai Chamber of Commerce says officials hope to reinvigorate the economy within 99 days through a connect the dots policy. He added that the distribution of COVID vaccines must be speeded up if the economy is to recover in the time frame. Why 99 days? Well, it seemed like a good idea at the time, it seems. The Chamber of Commerce says that the Connect the Dots policy is a way of connecting the state sector with the private sector and individuals in order to drive economic recovery within 99 days. The scheme also proposes a partnership that would involve a huge retail operator, Central, assisting its tenants, particularly small to medium-sized businesses, to get better access to financial assistance. According to a Bangkok Post report, the Chamber is pushing for 50% of the population to be vaccinated as soon as possible. Meanwhile, the Chamber has announced a campaign called Hug Thais, which will promote inbound tourism and encourage Thais to buy local and travel more within the kingdom. After a pandemic-fuelled unemployment freefall over the last year, costing 3 million people in Thailand their jobs, February saw a big jump in employment demand. Employment demand rose nearly 25% from the lowest periods in 2020, which were during the two COVID-19 outbreaks. Last April, listings on the job listing platform fell from January 2020 figures by 36%, while the second coronavirus outbreak in December last year led to an even bigger drop of more than 45% compared to the previous January. February shows a strong upward trend though, particularly with people in the IT field. Wish some of them might have been working on our website at the moment. Barring another wave of COVID-19, employment levels are looking likely to recover by 2022 to levels before the pandemic decimated the economy. JobsDB's predicting 5% year-on-year growth for Thailand's jobs market. Tourism officials are calling for Bangkok to be included in the new Sandbox travel scheme, which will allow foreign visitors who are vaccinated against COVID-19 to travel to specific tourist destinations that have reached herd immunity. Phuket and Koh Samui are set to reopen under the model in July. Tourism officials are now pushing for Bangkok to reopen under the scheme by October. Bangkok's the main transit hub for international arrivals in Thailand. For example, 90% of Pattaya's foreign visitors arrive in Bangkok first. The Tourism Council of Thailand says that just adding Bangkok to the Sandbox travel scheme could draw in 3 million visitors and help Thailand reach the goal of 6.5 million foreign visitors by the end of the year. Let me just say, if Thailand draws in 6.5 million visitors this year, I'll march naked down Soy Cowboy backwards in a stooped position. Following Phuket's lead, 5 other provinces recently announced Sandbox schemes: Koh Samui, Pattaya, Chiang Mai, Krabi and Phang Nga. In all cases, the government insists that 70% of the communities in those areas must be vaccinated before they can commence the arrival without quarantine tourist plans. Now to the latest news unfolding over Thailand's western border. Myanmar's anti-coup protesters are hurling garbage into the streets after more than 500 people have been killed since the military seized power. Protesters held candlelit vigils for the deceased last night after yesterday saw another 14 civilians killed, according to the Assistance Association of Politics Prisoners. Protesters held candlelit vigils for the deceased last night after yesterday saw another 14 civilians killed, according to the Assistance Association for the Political Prisoners. According to witnesses, security forces fired a much heavier caliber type of weapon yesterday to clear a barricade of sandbags. And in a new tactic, protesters are stepping up civil disobedience by asking residents to throw garbage onto streets on key road intersections. The move comes after loudspeakers boomed in Yangon neighbourhoods yesterday, urging residents to dispose of garbage in a proper manner. Today, 3 key ethnic militia groups called on the Burmese military to stop killing peaceful protesters and resolve political issues. The groups include the Myanmar National Democratic Alliance Army, the Arakan Army and the Ta Ang National Liberation Army. They warned if the military did not comply, they will cooperate with all nationalities who are joining Myanmar's Spring Revolution in terms of self-defence. The 3 militia groups listed have a history of being well armed and skilled in guerrilla tactics, often defying the army's efforts to quell them. Though many groups have agreed to ceasefires, heavy clashes erupted on the weekend near the Thai border between the army and fighters from Myanmar's oldest ethnic minority force, the Karen National Union. About 3,000 villagers fled to Thailand when military jets bombed a KNU area after a KNU force overran an army outpost and allegedly killed 10 soldiers. Meanwhile, Thai officials have recently denied that they've sent more than 2,000 refugees back to Myanmar, but one Thai official admitted it was a government policy for the army to block them from crossing the border and deny access to outside aid groups. Thailand's PM Prayut Chan-o-cha has also been forced to deny backing Myanmar's military government. He turned the question back on reporters at Government House yesterday. He said, "In what ways do we support Myanmar troops? Nobody supports use of violence against the people." A worker from Laos has been arrested after 3 people, including his wife, were stabbed to death and another man wounded at a rubber plantation in upper northeastern Thailand yesterday. The 38-year-old suspect is a rubber worker and was arrested in a roadside forest after locals reported seeing someone acting suspiciously. Police report that the suspect told investigators that he and his wife had been hired by the plantation owner. He said that he feared his employer and noted that he had a knife with him when staff were having a break mid-afternoon yesterday. He says he stabbed the man first and then stabbed his wife because she was screaming for help. He also stabbed 2 men arriving at the scene on a motorbike. The driver died of his injuries. The dead woman's husband was arrested late yesterday and continues to assist police with their inquiries. Checking the air quality around Thailand and starting in Bangkok, where today it's almost up into the orange, but at the upper end of moderate air conditions. It will be getting worse tomorrow and probably back to much the same on Thursday. To Phuket and moving into the moderate area today, but cleaner air on the way Wednesday and Thursday. In Thailand's northeast, let's check, and we've got unhealthy air for sensitive groups. We'll be getting a little bit better over the next 2 days. In Chiang Mai, the measurement is up to the unhealthy level into the red at 161, a slight improvement over Wednesday and Thursday. To the mid-Gulf of Thailand coast, and we've got moderate air conditions there in the Phetchaburi province, much the same over the next few days. And in Pattaya today, again moderate air conditions. We'll be getting into the clearer green area by Thursday. Well, just before we go, I'm not allowed to tell you this, but we've just launched an app. Now, it's in its beta stage at the moment, but it's also available for Apple and for Android. If you go to your App Store or your Google Play Store and you search for the Thaiger, you'll find the app. Now, I would appreciate if you sent in any problems you saw with the app. As I said, it's in beta stage and we will be launching it officially sometime next week. But if you'd like to have a sneak preview, it's there. But don't tell anybody that I told you. In the meantime, you're up to date with the Thaiger.